Hi folks, it's iProf here. I'm going to show you something that you can do using the looper in Ableton Live. Had an idea of using 4 loopers, but instead of putting them on 4 separate tracks, then just to put them all on the one track, and then how would you route the audio into each one of these. So this is actually how I set it up. I have one set up here already, so I'm just going to duplicate it so you know exactly what we're doing. So what you need to do is you need to go in and create an audio effect rack. So these are just your inputs. So I got 4 audio channels here that are going to send the audio to the looper. So this is just basically create an audio track, put your audio effect rack actually in, and then what you're going to do is you're going to drop in one looper, and you can rename that looper 1. What you can then do is duplicate that, and you're going to rename that to audio loop 2, audio looper 2, and duplicate that again, and 3, duplicate that again. Now again, you can put in as many as you want, duplicate again, and rename that to 4. So if you show the chain here, as you can see, you got 4 loopers now. They're all coming in basically on the one chain. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move each one of these across by 1. Okay. So now what you want to do is you can see the audio coming in here. So if I'm just going to bring audio in for each one of the audio tracks here, I'm going to send the audio to that looper. Okay, so I'm going to just delete that one, ignore that one for now. So I'm going to send it to the looper. I've actually just named that channel here looper, so audio 2 looper on each one of these. Now I'm just triggering like each one of these are a loop that's basically here, but what I've done is instead of it just triggering like we say with the kick here, and it's just going to trigger and continue to play the loop. What I've actually done is with just a kick loop, I'm actually going to leave it. You can leave it on trigger, but what I've done is I put it on gate and I put it on a 1-bar quantization. Now with any of the other ones that I'm using, like a bass, any of the bass loops or glitches or sounds or anything like that, I've put them on a gate in the launch that's actually down here. So if you click on the L for launch, go in, set it to gate, and set your quantization on that to none. So what will actually happen is when you trigger that, you know, it'll only play it as long as your finger is actually pressed down on it. Right, so in the looper, what you want to do is you want to set your monitor to on, or you can set it to, let's see here, monitor. This one now is coming, it should be coming. Oh yeah, I said master. Okay, so back to this. As I was saying, with the loop that's actually here, if you set it to gate and set the quantization to none, when you push on, I'm actually using just a launch pad here, so as long as you keep your finger down, it'll launch the clip, but it'll only keep it launched while your finger is actually on the button. So just set it to gate and set the quantization to none. Now, as I said, with a kick, like with the kick here, I've set the quantization just to 1 bar. So when you push it, it'll play 1 bar and then stop. It'll actually, yeah, as long as your finger is down on it, sorry. And what it'll actually do is it's quantizing to whatever your master BPM is up here. So it won't kick in. So when you put your finger on the button, it won't kick in until it comes around, and as long as you keep your finger on it, it'll continue to play, and it'll just play for the 1 bar. Take your finger off, it'll stop at the end of that bar. So the reason for that is we now have the looper set here. So what I'm actually going to do is, the next thing that we need to do is set up in the looper how this is actually routed in. So as you can see right now, just here, that the audio is coming in. Well, the reason the audio is coming in right now is it's basically taking my monitor and it's bringing it in from that. So audio from, let me just do this here, no input. Yeah. So what we still have is we still have the audio coming in. So so I'm going to set the select launch. If you right click on one of the clips and you select on launch, if you uncheck that, then when you're in your looper here, you can still see there's the audio coming in. Okay, so the audio is coming in through looper 1. So now what we need to do is we need to get it to select, depending on which looper I want to use, to get it to come to looper 2, 3 or 4. And how we actually do that is with dummy clips. So what you want to do is you want to be able to create a dummy clip in the looper itself. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to pull it from audio 1 for right now, and I'm going to record just 1 bar and stop. No. So now what we're actually we'll do is we will, using this dummy clip, we're going to automate it that it will select either looper 1, 2, 3 or 4. Now this is one of the reasons why we do it on an audio channel here. I've seen some other videos where they will do it on a send channel, putting a looper on a send channel, and that was just one individual looper. You can actually put dummy clips in a send channel, so you wouldn't be able to put more than one in. So you could put one looper in there, but not more than one looper. So with this one, we're going to use the dummy clip that is now going to select which looper we're going to select down here. So one of the first things we're going to do is I'm going to go into the macros here, and I'm going to map this to the first macro. Now, as you see, we don't need all 0 to 127, so I'm just going to bring that one back to the ones that we need. So we just need to go from 0 to 3. So once that's mapped in the chain selector, if I now turn it, it's going to go from here, and as you can see, if I press one of the clips, the audio will go. Okay, so that will make it go into whichever looper we actually want, but we gotta be able to do that. You could either do it by hand and map a controller to turn this one, but then you got to be kind of getting it right which one you're going to do by using one of the knobs, on like the APC 40 or Novation SL, something like that. The better way to do it is to actually use one of these clips. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use a chain selector, and how we do that is, if we go under chain selector, that's right here. Let's see here. We're going to go to chain selector. So into audio effect rack, chain selector, and this will make it go through number 1, because that's the default position at 0. So we're now want it to come through 0. But what I'm actually going to do is, if I make a copy of this and put it here, now I can take this and put it into the second one, or which will actually be marked 1. It's not the second one, it's 1. Going to do it again and do it again. So that's the 4 loopers. So the first one will be in 0. Second one is actually coming through 1, and we can rename this. Let's say 2 looper. Rename this 1 to 3. Rename this one to 4. So that's 2. We're going to take this one, I'm going to put it here. We're going to take this one and put it up 2 more. So depending on which clip, which one of these we actually hit, it will go through that looper. So 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now we don't actually need it to keep looping like that. So what you can actually do is do the same with what we do with the clip. So if you double click on the clip that's actually here, go down to gate. You don't need it to quantize, so you select none, and you're going to do the same with each one of these. So gate and none. Okay, so now when you actually press it, all you're doing is you're just going to change that, as you can see down here. So it's going to go through the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and that's how you're actually going to route it into the looper. So to get back to any of your signal sources, then no matter what you use, if it's a VST or whatever you want to do, an audio channel, you're just going to audio to actually that looper. And how I would have these loopers set up, you can do this on your controller, whatever controller you're actually using. I am just going to not do it right now. So in your looper, you can select it to record 1 bar. Now it depends on each one of these, so just for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to select 1 bar on each one of them, just as an example. So here's what we want to do. If you start your project going, and as it's actually going, you can record here 1 bar, and then I'm just going to set it to play. You can change this that it'll actually, after it records 1 bar, that then you want it to go and play. I'm going to do exactly the same on these other ones. If I just go back to the first one, you know, when you hit the plus sign, it's going to oversample. So now what you do is when you, I can trigger this whatever way I want.
The producers,
to 1. So if I click on this, now I've got it coming into 1. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the kick that's defaulted just to play the 1 bar. And this is actually how it would work. So I'm going to add it. Now it's actually stopped playing here now, even though it's still on the plus for overloop. Because I don't have anything going into it right now, it's not going to overloop. So on your controller, or whichever one you've got mapped, you can just basically have that go to play. So you can have your next sample come in. Now that sample is going to come in on looper 1. Now if you don't want it to come in on looper 1, what you would actually do is you hit on 2, and now it's actually going to come through 2. The producer. As you can see here, the signal is now, this is the signal that's coming out of looper 1, the signal that's coming into looper 2.
The producer.
So now let's say I go back to 1, and you know how a looper works.